Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all. My name is Adrian Slevin. I am the Global Dental Sales Enablement Lead here at Stratasys. I've been here for 3 years. I'm a dental technician as well. We're really excited to introduce to you today these new features that will be coming to your GrabCAD on April 7th. The goal of today's meeting is to teach you how to utilize these software updates on your GrabCAD. And with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to introduce your True Voxel feature. We're going to show you how to nest using the GrabCAD workflow. We'll go over some of the tips for success with True Voxel, design parameters, things like this. And we'll introduce to you some new product collaborations that we're doing with RPD workflows. We'll go over the best tips for success on your support. And then we'll hear from Nagar about our product outlook and more exciting things down the line. With that, I'd like to introduce you to Lior Amir. He's our senior application engineer and one of the main people that have helped develop this workflow. And with that, Lior, I'll let you take over.
Hi, everyone. So, Lior Amir, I'm a senior at Stratasys for the last 3.5 years or so, almost 4. And as Adrian mentioned, me and a large group of smart people, not myself included, worked on this project to get the best aesthetics we can achieve with TrueDent, trying to even improve the level that we had so far. Robert is on the line here that worked hand in hand with us, and a group of R&D engineers. This is TrueDent True Voxel shades. And True Voxel means that we chose the name True Voxel because a voxel is the 3D equivalent of a pixel. So when we apply a True Voxel shade, when we go into volumetric aesthetics, we alter and we give lifelike features in the inner dimension of the tooth, and we want to release as a factor with True Voxel. So True Voxel is a patent pending solution. It's introducing 3 aesthetic features to every tooth design that you throw at it. It enables both translucency in the incisal third, internal structures mimicking the mamelons, and also adds cervical staining in the neck of the tooth. Everything is done in the tooth volume. The external geometry is not changed, is untouched. You can expect the same accuracy that you used to seeing with TrueDent. And the important thing to understand here, that is not painting or staining or anything that is happening after the fact. This is hard baked into the model. This is making the design repeatable and scalable, and you can repeat the same exact, and you can expect the same exact result every time you come back and reprint these models without any additional manual labor that is currently needed for characterization on teeth. Now, how it works: dentures are loaded into GrabCAD Print, and we perform an analysis on the cases that are expected to get the True Voxel shades using a machine learning network. We try to identify and classify different features and components on the denture model, and then we can allow you to understand which models are going to be compatible with True Voxel and which are not going to be. I'm going to get to it in a second. Then once you choose to apply the True Voxel shades, we generate internal 3D structures in the tooth and apply the volumetric gradient to it, again, while keeping the external geometry intact and unchanged. The biggest requirement in regards to design at this point is that we need the teeth to be separate and not bridged. We need to identify the tooth type. This is part of the analysis. This is the coloring scheme you can see on the screen here. We need to understand if the tooth is a posterior or a canine or an incisor. Then we can apply different features to each type of tooth. We're going to see mamelons or internal structures on posteriors, and similar things are different between different tooth types. So we need to, for at this point, or at least in the first phase of TrueVoxel, we're not going to be able to support bridged teeth. Both the cervical darkening and the internal structures can be turned on and off for each one of the teeth in the same arch. This update, these features are going to be available within 2 weeks in the next GrabCAD software update, which is 1.12. These are the 7 shades that we're going to have in the first phase of TrueVoxel. As usual, we're going to be able to make the offering larger through a software update with no additional cost down the line. And I prepared, I hope it's going to be a quick demo of how to use the software. And I'll try to explain along the way. Adrian mentioned there's a Q&A box. Any questions you have, throw it in there, and I'll try to get to it when I can. This is both the general true step-by-step and specifically for TrueVoxel, because I try to throw in some tips and tricks on how to make your process in general a bit smoother. So loading dentures is done as usual, either through File, Edit Assembly, or Control-Shift-A. Add all the models that you want to have on the tray, and a quick cut to filling the entire thing with all the cases. After that, the first step would be running an analysis and repair on any issues we find with the mesh. So we fix it, and then the next step would be assigning base shades. We need to identify by that. This is the first thing that helps us understand which model is the base or the gingiva and which models are the teeth. You can arrange at this point or later. Sometimes it's helpful. For me, it's nicer to arrange at this point because it's easier to see all the teeth are facing up, and I can see everything much clearer. Up to you. So after you have everything ready for shade assignment, you start applying the base shades. And here, when you want to apply the same base shade to a few dentures at the same time, just let's go on model settings, select the base, hold Control, and select however many models you want to apply the same base shade to, and then do the rest of the tray as usual. Labels can be done either at this point or later down the line. Sometimes if you feel that your computer is slowing down when applying labels, you can save it to a later part of the process, because I'm going to pause for a second. Labels are kind of are a bit changing the external, let's say, colors of the denture, which is making the graphics resolution a bit higher. So it might be saved to a later part of the process. Now, this is the new part with TrueVoxel. Analysis is triggered through the dental view button that is up on the top bar here. You see a new tooth icon appearing on the top. After you assign all of the base shades, you can select the tooth icon and open the dental view. At first, you're going to see all the models are gray because they're not yet analyzed. Once you run the analysis on the tray, you're going to get a feedback of which models are green and acceptable and are compatible for TrueVoxel and which ones are red. Red models can be still, if are compatible with TrueDent in general, can be still applied basic shades. Any model that you have with bridged teeth can be still used with the basic shades. I have 2 examples here of models that are not compatible with TrueVoxel. The first one is a bridged model, and you can see that when selecting the teeth, the entire arch is selected. So it means it's a bridge model. And the second one is a model that is not compatible with TrueDent in general because it has a glue gap between the base and the teeth. This is not needed with PolyJet because we don't glue the teeth to the base. We print them monolithically. One of the general benefits of TrueDent. And by using the section view on the top right here, you can see that there are small gaps in between the base and the teeth. This is can be a trap for support material and can degrade the properties of the printed denture. We do not recommend using gaps in teeth in general. So I took this model out of the tray for the next step of the demo. Once we're done at this point, and you want to start applying the True Voxel shades, you select the dentures you wanna apply the True Voxel shades to. If again you want to do more than one at the same time, you don't need to click the entire arch. You don't need to select the entire set of teeth in the same denture. You can select just at least one tooth of that arch, and same as before, hold Control to select multiple files at the same time as you here. And now when you switch to voxel shades, you're going to see the entire arch switching to the shade you selected. So it's all going to be an A1 with True Voxel shades. Now, this coloring scheme, as I said before, it shows you the result of the tooth type analysis that was done before. You can see that different colors show different types of teeth. And at this point, you'd want to make sure that the analysis was done correctly and correct any issues with the analysis. You can see here that there are 3 teeth in this arch that weren't identified correctly. So I'm selecting them and applying a different tooth type to them. You can see the color is changing to indicate that now this is regarded as an incisor and this is a canine. And that's it for the dental view, at least. The dental view is basically a filter, a display filter. It helps you see which models are compatible and not compatible. And then after analysis, it helps you see which models are defined as the corresponding tooth type. Once you're done with that part, you don't have to stay the dental view. You can choose to. It's up to you. What's your preference? But it's not a requirement. Then you can turn it off and go back to working as usual. Now, when you want to start playing around with the different True Voxel features, you can use the rectangle select here and select all the teeth at the same arch and apply the cervical to them, to the cervical staining to them, or remove them, change the shades. And now, if you want to apply the internal structures to the denture or remove them, the default setting is cervical staining is turned off and the internal structures are turned on. If you want to turn off the internal structures, you need to select only the anterior teeth, meaning both the canines and the incisors. The internal structure is disabled for the posterior teeth, meaning you're going to need to be. This is why you can see in this second that the toggle for the internal structures is in the middle. It's containing both models that are compatible with internal structures and are not. So it's disabled for the posteriors, and now when I'm going to select the incisors and the canine, because it's a partial. There's only one canine here. I can turn off the internal structures for the entire case. And now when I select all of the teeth, you can see that it's turned off. As usual with shade assignment, go on with making the entire tray and mixing different shades between the same inside the same arch as possible, same as we did with the basic shades. We cannot mix basic shades and True Voxel shades, but an A1 and an A2 with True Voxel shades can live in the same denture. Now, after you're happy with your assignments, if you want to go back to a basic shade, just again as before, select one tooth or more and switch to the basic shades and select the relevant shade you wanna switch to, and it's gonna switch the entire arch. Now, the last step I would recommend is triggering the dental view again, just to make sure that everything was done according to your requirements. That means that you can, if you see any model that is either green, the teeth are either green or red, it means that it's assigned with basic shades. Any models that has this colorful scheme, it means it has True Voxel shades on it. And once you're happy with your results, arrange a nest if you didn't get to it before. The automatic option is facing all the teeth up, as this is the regular recommendation for TrueDent. This is also a requirement, sorry. You need to have the teeth facing up, and this is what the automatic arrangement does for you automatically. But if you want to play around and and make it manually, just make sure that if you want to get the best results, or if you want to get true voxel appearance in general, you're going to have the teeth facing up. And that's it. Nest, arrange the tray, and send it over to the printer as you're used to.
Lior, we have a question.
Yeah.
Can you explain what happens when you're bringing in a 3MF file, please?
So 3MF is, if you have a 3MF file that contains, as I said, a different a 3MF file for each one of the teeth, everything works as usual. There isn't a difference between the base and the voxel shades or the basic shades. Again, as long as the teeth are separated and applied the same analysis and the same process. Yeah.
So 3MF is
same
supported.
from OBJs,
yep.
Yes. The only requirement is to have the teeth separated.
And for those of you that are asking, sorry, Lior, we are recording this session, so you will be able to view it in the future. Thank you for your questions.
Okay. We have this software update. These features are already being tested for the past few months with a list of different labs throughout the world, in the United States, in Europe, and we try to get as many feedback as we can before getting it out to all of you, because we want to have the best product out there when you get it. This is some feedback we got from different labs that tried it. So far, the results or the comments and the feedback is amazing so far, and it's very good for us. Very great for us to receive such nice feedback. As usual, with everything we work on, we value your feedback. Anything that you think can be improved, and anything that you want to see next developed for TrueDent or for any other Stratasys products, please reach out to either one of us and let us know, and we can work on it in the future. I want to say that what we're introducing with TrueVoxel today shows you the commitment we have to the aesthetics and to continue being the producers of the best looking dentures in the market. This is the initial step. This is introducing new capabilities that, as usual, are going to continue on developing and becoming more complex and better looking throughout the future. And I'm very excited to have all of you try it out very soon. Thank you.
To your point, Lior, we actually do have one of our beta testers here and a TrueDent customer here in the United States. Ken Kincaid, you are on, I believe. Would you like to comment about your experience with TrueVoxel?
Sure, I would. Thanks, Adrian. And Lior, thank you for explaining the steps to go through for nesting these, which is very simple. The look of these True Voxel teeth, I think what Stratasys did with mimicking nature and the different diagrams that they used to create these teeth, they did a wonderful job. They put a lot of time and effort into it to get something that we are now taking our basic dentures or our standard dentures, and with just a click of a button, a highly aesthetic premium denture. And we know that the aesthetics are there. We know that nothing is going to change with the strength of the denture or anything like that with this update, because it's a software update. It's not a physical material update, which makes everything very simplified. So I found changing to the True Voxel is a very easy procedure. I think the results that we're getting are tremendous. Our doctors seem to like them quite a bit more than the original basic shades. And it also gives us a little bit better opportunity to try to match the natural teeth that we have in the mouth for our partial dentures that we're doing. I think the enhancement to these denture teeth really gives us an upper hand in trying to match the aesthetics of what the patients currently have in their mouth.
Thank you for your feedback, Ken. I appreciate you sharing that. We do have some questions, Lior. Does Voxel option have any impact on the resin consumption or print time?
I just replied to it. Yes, you can expect it. You can expect a slight increase for the TrueDent Clear because we're introducing a clear edge. but it's going to be a minimal effect, and I'm not sure most of you would notice it. No difference in print time because it's the same exact model or the same exact engine processing all those models.
And then the answer to one of your questions, can we produce a mix of basic shades and true voxels on the same platform? And
of course. Yep. Yes, of course. This is one of the best selling points that we have for PolyJet in general. We want you to have mixed polychromatic mixed models of the same tray. We want you to have as many options as you can at the same time. You can mix them at the same tray, as I said before, not in the same print. And I'm only talking about teeth. The gingiva shades are shared between basic teeth and basic shades and true voxel shades.
And we do have another question about the teeth being separate. Yes, they need to be a separate STL file for the software to be able to identify which teeth are which. So if they're together in a single STL, it won't be possible to utilize TrueVoxel. Let's see, we have another question.
I'll take two more questions here. Regarding three shape support for the DME, it's something that we're working on. It's not going to be available for the launch. We're working on optimizing the best way to do it with three shape. At the moment, the base shade gingiva shades are going to be kept in the 3MF file if you assign them in three shape and use the 3MF workflow. You would need to reassign the tooth shades with TrueVoxel after the analysis. Regarding curing time and processing time, no difference. The same curing time and the same processing time as usual. Clear results or fully clear prints sometimes require longer curing time. If you want a better result, this is up to your taste. If any one of you had some experience with printing fully clear models, you can see that longer curing times can get you a clearer result. But from our test, the regular curing time gets you a very good looking result just out of the bat.
Perfect. Thank you, Lior. I appreciate that. And can you discuss real quick design limitations? So can you use this on a single crown and bridge or temporary crown and bridge case, things like this?
Yeah, thank you for the question. At this point, we're going to need to be able to analyze both the base and the teeth at the same time to be able to identify the margin between them, the different positions of the teeth in the mouth. This is why we're going to be able to support only models that contain both gingiva and teeth, meaning flippers, partials, and full dentures.
Yep, and then with a crown and bridge case, we do utilize an internal structure, and because it's a crown, we do not have that core either that we would need to be able to introduce the internal structure. So thank you very much, Lior. And with that, I'd like to introduce Robert Cryer. He's our digital transformation manager. He will go over some of the guidance for success with your tooth molds.
Thank you very much, Adrian and Lior. As Lior said, it's a team effort. You know, there's a big team that went in developing this product, this revolutionary product in removal prosthetics. And I work in the product team of Lior and Daniel, but Lior is very humble, but he was an integral part in development of especially this amazing user interface that he created, along with the GrabCAD team who utilized machine learning, and our R&D team, which many iterations of this went through, but it's a revolutionary product that we're discussing with you and presenting to you today. So in looking at this, as we mentioned, the goal is to really mimic the principles of biomimetic dentistry to copy nature and prosthetics. We've seen a lot of carded denture teeth that have different types of layers. Some denture teeth are sold at 2 layers, 3 layers, 4-layer denture teeth. And of course, more layers you have, the more aesthetic, more expensive it's going to be. And so this is what we're integrating into these two designs and solutions. So the idea here is I split this up in this slice of a natural tooth into 3 sections: the cervical, the dentin in green, and the incisal in blue. And it's in the incisal area where these internal structures, and this incisal translucency, is being affected in the tooth structure. And the dentin area, the green area, the enameled and dentin shows, is really where you're going to get the shade. If you're copying a shade, whether it be a Vita shade, an Evoclar shade guide, you're really going to get that reference in that center point of the body. And then of course the cervical area in pink, this zone is where we will have the gradient, which will be added in more of the higher chroma teeth and to have more of this natural effect, this subtle transition from the gingival margin, the cervical, down to the incisal. So there's a lot of content in these 3 slides I'm presenting, but I'm not going to go through it word by word, but I put a lot of content for you for reference so you can review them later on. This slide really is from a little bit of research we did. I said we did a number of iterations and looking at the correlation between geometry and the tooth structure. So we can create these internal structures, but through machine learning, understanding different geometries, we
from us and from our industry colleagues.
Can somebody? Okay, thank you. And so as you can see on the slides below, these are the photos below of different dentures that we've looked at, different geometries or mold shapes of anterior teeth, and wanted to make sure that where the consistency or inconsistency is with these different shapes. So it looks at like the threshold is at a 2 millimeter incisal thickness. As you know, in mold charts, we're given the length and width of the teeth, but very, very seldom look at the incisal edge thickness. But there is a variation of the incisal edge in different molds. Some molds are more full-bodied, and do have a thicker, as well as some have a much, much thinner incisal edge. So looking at and analyzing a lot of these incisal edge thicknesses, they can go like from anywhere from 1.4 millimeters to up to 3 millimeters in thickness, depending upon the mold. But as I'm saying, is that this threshold where you want to get the optimal results in the optics of this internal structures is around 2 millimeters in thickness. And some people want to show more translucency. So then you'll select a mold that is a little bit thinner in the incisal area. As you can see, and below in the mandibular anteriors, the 1.9 has much more translucency than the 2.38 or the 2.04 incisal third thickness from labial to lingual surfaces. So, and this, what it trying to explain is there is another geometric effect and tooth selection that we need to take into consideration as well for these mamelons to have the different effect. Whether we want to show more translucency or a little bit less will be dependent upon the mold we select. Okay, and then lastly, very important to understand that how revolutionary this is, that in design, we've always given the designers really control of geometry. Designers really have never had control of the shade other than just in the order form, putting what shade they want. And later on, after they're getting into whether it be the milling or printing process, they go ahead and select the desired bottle of liquid they want, a tooth shade or a base shade, as well as the disc or that they're going to mill into. But now through GrabCAD software, as Lior was explaining to you, and in which he really was a major part of this project, was to develop, colors and give the designer not only control of the geometry, but in GrabCAD software, give them control of color, give them control of selecting the shade of each individual tooth. Centrals can be a B1, laterals can be an A2, then canines can be an A3, posteriors can be an A2, and then these teeth can have all these internal structures. So we're giving the designer control, taking them from the geometry basis only control to have all these parameters of not only geometry, but color, translucency, internal structures, which really differentiates, I think, TrueDent from any other digital denture product and shows the future capabilities of this product. And as it said, the goal is to make this more of a biomimetic principle in design, where we will be mimicking more and more natural prosthetics in the future. So any questions, please let us know, or more than happy to discuss anything personally online or in email.
Thank you, Robert. All right,
Thank you.
so I'd like to remind everybody of their resources that you guys have, and we're also offering you further resources that may be helpful for you marketing to your clinicians and your laboratories. So just a reminder, we have an academy, Stratasys Academy. We have everything from design, post-processing, obviously getting started, things like that. We will be adding a video on how to utilize True Voxel as well. There is also something that if you're not wanting to use the exocad denture molds, for example, we do have a workaround video that is on here for an advanced exocad workflow that will allow you to use all of their CAD libraries from Crown and Bridge libraries as well. So we also have different types of clinical resources as well for your clinicians, and they have access as well to our support pages and some of the Academy modules. So we've got marketing assets. We're happy to also send you some imagery or help you create something from your laboratory. We do have a presentation for you that you can present to your accounts as well, all about TrueDent. And we have clinical guidance that Robert has put together for guiding those doctors on how to do 1, 2, 3 visit dentures. Most importantly, I'd like to point out that we do have a patient care card. We have a trifold, and then we have a postcard. And what we'd like to encourage you to do, as we know, all digital dentures are very susceptible to different types of cleansers. Some are very, very abrasive and break down materials and things like that. So it's important to provide them this care card, as with any printed or milled denture, to help them to understand how to take good care of their dentures. We also have some new product collaborations, which are quite exciting to me. One of them is, well, we'll start here with the Soft Relax HTM. If you guys haven't utilized that or been exposed to it at all, it will decrease your water blasting production 90% of your labor, and it also will ensure that the support material is fully removed in those areas that are difficult to remove manually. If you do not remove all of the support, it will cause issues with staining or polishing and things like that. So we do encourage you to check this out. If you have any questions about it, feel free to respond in an email. We can offer you some guidance or give you, the best practices with those. Just as a quick, in a nutshell, it takes about 8 minutes to do your kind of bridge models, 10 for your ortho models, your surgical guides in 8 minutes, and your dentures in about 10 minutes. And obviously, this is dependent on the temperature of the water. If you need any suggestions about an electric water heater or something like that, if you're doing a high volume of dentures and you don't have that capacity, some very good suggestions on affordable, just electric, that will help increase that or decrease your time for cleaning. So one of the most exciting things, I think, with True Voxel as well is the ability to replace single teeth also and be able to match those teeth adjacent. We are working with Atlex, which is previously Trumpf, 2-1 Lab, Bego, ExoCAD. We call it TrueSnap. And we have helped get all of those settings dialed in with those respective companies. However, we can work with any company and help them get their settings dialed in, or you if you're metal printing currently or outsourcing. I would encourage you to design all of it at the same time. So prosthetic driven design is great in the ExoCAD quick snap workflow. You may also design in 3Shape as well. This is another idea of design options. So whatever works for you, you can make these very unique, but the ability to do a monolithic polychromatic plus True Voxel will allow you to increase these offerings to your clinicians. This is just in a nutshell what it looks like. You can use ExoCAD or 3Shape or your respective software. If you use ExoCAD, you start with your prosthetic and then you move into your frame. If you start with 3Shape, you start with your frame and then you move into the prosthetic. So again, you will go through your manufacturing method, or it's very flexible. Again, you'll go through printing. It's about 71 to 91 cents per unit. That includes the gingiva. You'll go through your soft relax or your manual jetting and follow the same procedure as you do. You can use cold cure, hard reline, or a chairside pickup material, which is very fast. It's about a 10-minute setup. And Ken, are you still available? I'd like to hear your perspective on this workflow.
Yeah, Adrian, I'm still here. And we started using the quick snap workflow a few months back now. And I tell you what, it is one of the easier ways to process a gingiva to a partial framework. And one of the better things that we found out is that we no longer have to use acrylic. We've been doing heat care packing for years and years. And now we can get away from any of that raw monomer that we have by using the chairside pickup materials. So now we have any patient that has allergy to acrylics or anything like that, we can now make that framework without having to run into those issues. We're always getting a consistent result because it's a digital design, and we always know that we're going to have the same fit, again, because we're taking the human error out of all of the processes that we're doing. So we found a lot of success in using this type of technique for manufacturing our frameworks and our partials for our patients. And our doctors really seem to like the product they're getting. And another thing that we're doing is we're cutting down our appointment times from 3, 4, or 5 appointments to mainly 2 and sometimes 3 appointments for a finished metal framework partial denture. So we're very fortunate to have the technology on our side for these types of apparatuses that we can give to our patients. And we know that everything is going to be completely digital and it's all going to work perfectly.
Thank you, Ken. We do have a question, and I'd like to direct it to you because you're doing this actively with your experience. What are you using to adhere the frame to the TrueDent?
I am currently using the chairside material that you see on the screen right there. And I find that it works really well. It's not super fast setting. You can get a fast set, but when you're working with multiple saddles at a time, you may not want that. The set that I'm using is about 10 minutes. I do put it into my light cure because it heats up and it helps get that really strong bond with the printed material and with the metal framework.
Thank you. And we do have a question here about the aesthetic range of the teeth and the minimum thicknesses. The minimum thicknesses is applicable to the base, so it must be 2.5 millimeters at delivery. So just my recommendation about this is, just from being in the lab and working on a lot of these products, is when you're designing, you want to take into account your polishing or any adjusting that you're going to be doing, and make sure it doesn't go home with the patient at less than 2.5 millimeters, okay? So what I would say is 2.75 or greater, just to allow for any adjustments that need to be happening or the change of geometry during polishing.
Adrian, I'll just add one thing on the
Please.
tooth thickness that, if somebody's applying that tooth thickness in the insides ledge is not a chipping, is more of a function of disclusion. So you need to create disclusion and protrusive and excursive movements, and that's really a main factor in tooth chipping, and not the thickness. So it's very important to have a 1 to 1.5 millimeter horizontal and vertical overlap so you don't have any type of collision and protrusive movement. movements that will create chipping. So again, it's a factor of anterior guidance, not thickness.
Thank you. And I would like to just invite all of you to come to a webinar that's upcoming in May. There was a study, a research project done with the Boston University and Robert, and as well as Dr. Davis, which is from Heartland Dental Clinics here. And they did a study about accuracy and how it comes out of different technologies. So you'll be able to see they've tested about 5 different technologies extensively. And so we want to invite you to that. We also have some events that you will get an invitation to through either your reseller or from us directly on a marketing. And that is working with ExoCAD at their excellence centers. They're starting one in Baden-Baden. So we're preparing for some of that, where you can come and learn ExoCAD and more about our workflows. At Darmstadt, excuse me. And also in the US, in Boston, they also have an excellence center, which we are in the process of planning more educational events. We did have an RPD, that hands-on event that worked out really well. Actually, Ken Kincaid taught everyone, as well as an ExoCAD design trainer. So keep your eyes open for that. We're excited, and we're also taking more requests for more educational opportunities. And with that, I'd like to move over to Adam DeSanza. He is our lead here in installation and support and service, and he has some tips for you to get the best support you possibly can. And bear in mind, some of you are going through partners and some of you are going directly through us, so we will cover both of those methods. So Adam, with that, I will hand it to you.
Thank you. Good morning. Again, my name is Adam DeSanza, Technical Account Specialist for Medical and Dental J3 and J5s at Stratasys. I'm here to give you the absolute top level tips to get maximum production from your DentaJet. The number one tip is the cleaning wizard. It's run after every single print, and if we have a customer that calls in and we ask them about the status of their printer and they have no idea, we know they're going to have an issue, because this is a required wizard. And we like to think of it more of as an inspection with a little bit of cleaning attached. So at the end of a print, your printer should be very clean, but we want you to get down, get in there, take a look at the heads, take a look at the roller, the wiper blade, the UV, hit them with some IPA, make sure they're spotless. But really, it's checking for trends, things things moving in the wrong direction, cured material where it shouldn't be. It's to get you familiar with the printer so you know what it should look like. And then when you have something that is where it shouldn't be, it's very easy and quick to know that you have an issue. So the cleaning wizard is the number one tip that we have for great maintenance of the printer. Now, if you do have an incident in the US, we want you to call. You are production customers. You need to keep printing. And if you use our email service, it can be up to a 24-hour wait. There's no dental-specific email address for customers in the US to reach out to tech support with. But there is a phone number. It skips AI. There's no entering your serial number. You go directly to a live person. And I would say 70% of our cases we can solve within 15 minutes over the phone, versus if you were to email in, or even worse, not call or email at all, that time can increase exponentially. So here in the US, please give us a call at the Dental Priority Hotline. And if you're outside of the US, please call your service bureau or reseller or whoever you get your service through. Now, before you call, this is the big list for us. It's pretty simple, but it's extremely important and helps just get things accomplished as quickly as possible. Obviously, your serial number. You wouldn't believe the amount of emails that we get, and people just say, hey, this is going wrong, and don't tell us who they are or what printer they're talking about. So serial number is super important. In big orange letters, pictures, photos are crucial. 10 people can tell me about one problem 10 different ways, and I won't understand what any of them mean. They can all send me a picture of the issue, and we instantly know what's going on, or at least what you're seeing, to be contacting us, to call us in. Do try to make them as clear as possible. We don't need 50, but 2 or 3 of the issue, of anything else that's concerning to you. Huge help, and we'll get your time to resolution reduced significantly. Print times. So if you were having an incident during a print, letting us know what time that print took place and what time the incident took place is very beneficial as well. Chances are we'll be getting logs from you if it's a significant software issue or printer issue, and it helps us to narrow down what part of those logs we should be focusing on. The models themselves, both photos and actual STLs, are extremely helpful. And then finally, in the US, we've had a really good push. I think we have somewhere between 85 to 95% of our J3 and J5 DentaJets connected to our IoT gateway. It makes troubleshooting so easy. We have proactive alerts now, which actually send a case out to the customer when we have a predefined error or issue pop up. So if you don't have your printers connected, or you're a reseller and you need to convince your customers to get them connected, it is extremely valuable, and it is a beautiful tool for us to have access and help you guys keep printing. So we are talking about TrueVoxel today, so we want to hit on some TrueDent reporting highlights. Since they are a medical device, we just want to be very explicit with what we request from you guys and what you provide for us. So customer information, this is mostly for a reseller that would be calling in who the customer is, the address, contact, email, that kind of stuff. Workflow, is it a denture? Is it an immediate? Is it a reference or something else? The area of concern is actually the area of the denture. So is it the midline, the palatal base, teeth, interproximal, whatever area is affected by whatever incident you're currently experiencing. Please document that. Any descriptions, additional details, the teeth were green, not that that happens, but just off the top of my head, that's what came out of my mouth. Anything else that can help us find whatever your issue is and focus in on a solution. Back again to photos, so important. The number one tool that we're gonna, if you don't send photos, we're gonna ask, and it's just gonna take longer to get your issue resolved. Design files, the STLs of the actual models that you're experiencing in whatever issue with, we need those as well. And they're actually requirements. These are all requirements for the medical device reporting. FYI, I should have said that at the beginning. Scan files. So we do ask in certain scenarios that you scan the files and send us that raw data along with the STL. It helps us determine what's going on. And build orientation. So a little analog, but it's still very, very important. If you're in GrabCAD and you have your models on the build platform, we want to know where they are on the tray. We want to know, is it shifted to the left or the teeth angled this way? So a screenshot, even a cell phone picture, whatever gets us that information makes our job easier. And our job being easier means you're printing sooner. So that's it for me. It was a pleasure. Thank you. You're muted, Adrian.
Isn't that the way everybody prefers? Just a quick recap. So if you're an end user and you purchase directly from us, or you purchase through your reseller, ensure that you contact us. Don't let it build up. Don't continue experiencing issues. We want to help you resolve the problem or build your knowledge base, things like that. We do a lot of trainings. We do a lot of modules. We really want you to be successful, so we're taking requests for any of that. But that being said, we do need your material lot number if it's a material complaint. Your scan and CAD files are very helpful because we can diagnose them. We have dental technicians on the team. We have Robert. He will be those designs, and everything's relating to each other. Images, if you just send all of this, and by the way, the environment of your complaint, whether it's an intraoral issue, an extraoral issue, anything like that, your print date and your incident date. That being said, if you give us those, then we will be able to quickly diagnose it and give you tips and tricks, or figure out if it was a material issue or things like that. Ken, I see you have your hand raised. Please.
Yeah, Adrian, I just wanted to touch on one thing that Adam mentioned about how important it is to clean our machines after each and every print. If anybody's out there, I'm sure all of you are probably, are doing any kind of DLP printing, you realize that it does take time to remove our print parts from our plate, throw them in alcohol, clean our print plate, and then refill our vat with material. when Adam's talking about cleaning these after each and every print, we're not talking about 5 minutes. I typically spend 30 to 40 seconds to clean my printer after every time I'm done printing, and I do most of the time 2 prints a day, so I have a lot of practice at it. But so when he says we're cleaning, we're not doing a lot of time in here. It's not 10, 15 minutes. It's a very quick process. It's an easy process. And it's something that you're going to be doing anyway if you're DLP printing. So I think that's a great advantage, having everything fully contained in the J5 printer, where you don't have to mess with any of the raw resins. And again, I just want to point out that it's not a long time for this cleaning. So don't get skewed by that, thinking it's going to take a bunch of time after every print. I just want to put my 2 cents, if you didn't mind.
Great point. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Robert, just a quick, you do a lot of escalated calls and things like that. I'd like to hand it over to you for just a moment.
Yes, I just created this little flow chart. So to show you what we do in an investigation, to find a solution and come up with a resolution to any problem you might have, whether it be with the machine or files, whatever it may be. So really, as Adam has said, and Adrian, we need to communicate. We need to collect all this data, clinical data, technical data, scan files and design files, and analyze that. Look in clinical records. It's always one common problem seems to be bad bite scans. Improper relationship records always contribute to issues in occlusion. And then also, looking at these photos, observing them and communicating them. So then we collect everything and we analyze all this data through our investigation process and come up with a root cause and discuss this root cause with you, and finally come up with a evidence-based resolution to these problems. So this is kind of the more visual workflow work chart, so you can see what our thought process is on problem solving.
Thank you. And especially when you're experimenting with the new TrueVoxel, ensure that you do this as well, because that'll really help us with photos and things like that when you're describing and giving us feedback. So with that, I would like to conclude, and please put your questions in the Q&A, because we're only a few minutes out here and I want to make sure that we get to your questions. Also, you may respond in the email, but I'd like to introduce Nagar Movahed. She's our Director of Product and Dental. And Nagar, please.
Thank you, Adrian. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope you learned a lot from our team and from Ken, especially. I think it's really nice to learn from colleagues in the industry and their experience. I'm sure you can kind of see the energy that we have and how excited we are and how proud we are of this launch. This marks an important milestone for us, of course, in our goal for becoming the best digital denture solution in the market. Some of you may remember, some of you that have been on this journey with us, remember that when we launched TrueDent a few years ago, we set a new standard in the industry for the first polychromatic monolithic digital denture, which really put us on the map for the best aesthetics on the market. Now, today, I think we're really proud to say that TrueVoxel builds on that foundation, and it allows our customers to actually unlock a lot more value from their J5 platforms and the TrueDent solution. And at the same time, I think it actually sets us up for even greater performance in the future, once that I'm going to talk about in a few seconds. But one thing I want to mention before I move on to what's coming in our roadmap is, you can kind of see that, of course, you're getting a lot of value with the denture, the full dentures, but also where we see a lot of value is partial dentures. This has historically been one of the challenges in the market, because with the single color DLPs or single color inkjets on the market, it's really hard to match existing dentition. So from what we hear from the market is that people have been a little hesitant to move their partial production to digital dentures because of this aesthetic barrier. So now we think that with the TrueVoxel launch and this amazing improvement that we've made, this gap has been effectively closed. We have unlocked a true metal partial and flipper solution for our customers, and we're really happy to provide that without a compromise on aesthetics. Now, to share a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes and what's coming in the future is that, you know, obviously we're laser focused on the next generation digital denture solutions. I can't give you a timeline today, but just to tell you that our clear goal, our holy grail, is to give you guys a solution which is high impact, building on the polychromatic printing, a solution that truly meets our clinical and lab expectations. I will share with you the 4 pillars that we generally think about for our development that guides us through this development. One is obviously aesthetics. We know that patients need to feel good when they're wearing their dentures and for it to look nice. So obviously we're providing TrueVoxel for that. Second, it needs to be comfortable to be adopted. And I think that this unmatched fit and accuracy that TrueDent offers, it addresses that gap that a lot of other digital dentures may provide, and especially the gap that traditional workflows has. Lastly, we built a strong denture solution today, but we've listened to the market as part of our customer-centric approach. We're listening. We know that our next step of the way is to improve on our mechanical properties with a high-impact solution, so that's definitely coming. And lastly, we're committed to improving your lab's efficiency. So you're going to see in the next year, in our next launches, you're going to see a progress as we bring different types of efficiencies to your lab. So whether it's a software, whether it's from post-processing, you're going to see a lot more updates with us, from us. So I will leave you with this. To everyone that's on the call, all of our partners, all of our customers, all of the people who are just joining, who have been on this journey with us, we have this customer-centric innovation approach, and we're serious about it. So we want to communicate with you. Our lines of communications are open. We think that our best products are built through collaboration. I think when you kind of look at the RPDs, this is one of those examples where we trusted our internal expertise for people who have actually managed labs to say, this is where we really need to go. So we are open to suggestions. We are open to feedback. We are listening. We have a roadmap filled with innovation, meaningful improvements, and also partnerships that you're going to hear about. And we're happy and grateful for you guys to be on this journey with us.
We appreciate you all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful evening and afternoon, and we'll see you next time. Stay tuned.